what are great Pokemon card pickups during a crashing market, or mainly what cards are people looking out for right now. I normally go through a bunch of cards which are like great to pick up right now, whether or not you want to collect, invest, or anything like that. And today I want to go through a particular set of cards, okay? The cards we're talking about today are getting a little bit cheaper. They saw a big boom during the summer of this year, or the majority of this year. They've retracted a little bit. I'm talking about promos, specifically Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet era promos. They're pretty solid, right? ETB promos are very good right now from the Scarlet and Violet era. And then from the Sword and Shield era, we got some real big, juicy ones that we're going to go through today, okay? We're going to be going through a whole bunch of promos for you guys, which I think are going to be great pickups right now. If you want to look at grading them, getting them for your collection, or whatever it may be, these are absolutely must-have and are fantastic. Let's get into it. The first one we'll talk about is a collection of 3 promos. It is the Charizard UPC promo. So all 3 of them, I think, are going to be, or have been, very, very good, right? We've got the Charizard V-Star, the VMAX, and the V. The first one we're going to look at is the V-Star, and we'll look through the others as well. So this one this year has been doing very, very well. First thing I want to talk about is that PSA 10 price. It is quite tough to get in a PSA 10, right? We're looking at just under 9,000 copies in a 10 and nearly 26,000 copies in a 9. I have graded 15 sets of these and not got a single 10. The centering, and not even just the centering, but the quality of these are pretty terrible. So this card did actually peak at 1.1k back in October, and it has slipped $300, which is a lot. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If we look at the raw price as well, this year this one's been going all over the show. So it settled at around about $50. But back in the end of September, beginning of October, it was around $70, $75. Now, vending at card shows this year, I've been seeing what's been going on, firsthand really, when pricing things up. And throughout the year, we were just pricing things up constantly. It kept going up and up and up and up and up. And then I did a card show like here, and my most recent one. So this is kind of the effect of it coming down, but it's still up over the last 6 months. But during the summer, we did see a boom coming out of the summer, in fact, and now it's settling down a little bit. So again, a pretty good one to pick up, whether or not you want to get one in a PSA 10, because it has dropped, or you're looking to get one raw, because it's still up, but it's still gone down from its all-time highs. And moving on, we've got the Charizard VMAX promo to go along with it. If you look at that PSA 10 price, again, quite difficult to get in a PSA 10. We're looking at $400 there. In the 9, it's only $58. And look at that. We've seen, again, back in that October time, it was about $600 in a 10. It's dropped $200, which is, again, a lot of money. Big money, guys. And now's a quite good time to grab a upgraded copy. And then the raw price. The raw price is still up on the 6-month period, but on TCG Player, it was about $65 compared to the market price of $50, and now it's gone back down to $40. So again, similar to the V-Star, following that similar timeline. And then with the V, which is a slightly cheaper one, we're looking at $400 in a 10. Still very difficult to get in a 10. And then back in September, October, we're looking at $500 in a 10, and it's now dropped basically $100 to $150 since then, which is pretty good. And then the raw price, right? The raw price is pretty much where it was 6 months ago, but again, it was nearly $40-$50. So now's a great time. We've seen a lot of cooling off. I think it's a great time to get these promos if you've never got them. If you want to get them graded, my suggestion would be pick them up already graded, just because they're very hard to get in a 10. But yeah, that's probably what I would do. Next up, we've got the Arceus V from Sword and Shield. This one came in the collection box, the figure collection box, which had the Cosmic Eclipse pack in it. So this one here, we're looking at in a 10. Again, quite tough to get a 10, $500. Earlier on this year, it did reach nearly $750, so it's dropped $250, which is a good sign to pick it up. Still quite pricey, but still a good sign. And then the raw price is slightly up from where it was 6 months ago, but it has gone down nicely. Right, we're looking at $35 and has come back down a little bit. But when I say a little bit, from $35 down to $20, $15 drop is pretty good. So now's a good time to pick up this amazing looking Arceus. Tough to get in a 10, but it is a lot cheaper. Moving on, we've got the Greninja. Obviously, this is the promo from the Celebrations ETB. I've graded a few of these recently, and look at that PSA 10 price, $700. And not only that, look how little it is in a 10, like 2,500 copies compared to how many are in a 9, which is pretty insane. Look how many is in a 8 as well. So yeah, you're looking at 1K right? Again, similar to that Charizard, 1K, 6 months ago, it was $300. This goes to show the power of celebrations right now. It did peak at 1,000. Now we're looking at 700. It's dropped 30%. That's a big drop. That is a big, big drop. Raw price, kind of back to similar to where it once was. It did peak at 25. Actually, no, it did peak higher than that. On TCG Player, it was 33. On the market, it was like 27, 28. Retracted a little bit. So it's fallen from grace quite heavily, even on TCG Player. So I think it will spike back up in the next anniversary product, but keep an eye out for the Greninja. Okay, onto some Scarlet and Violet. We've got the Mew coming in from the 151 Ultra Premium Collection box. So we have here in a PSA 10, it's $600. Quite a decent amount of them in a 10. Still not a huge amount, but look how many's in a 9. Like a lot. There's a big price difference there. It did reach a high of $800. So it has dropped by $200 since then. I do have one in a 10. And yeah, I've noticed it has come down a fair amount. We look raw as well. It's nearly down to where it once was 6 months ago. Did reach some pretty crazy highs at nearly $100, which is pretty impressive. The market price is actually higher than TCG Player, but overall, this one is a fantastic promo. You can get it in a 10, I think it's absolutely fantastic, especially it has dropped a decent amount recently. We've got the Kingdra promo. This is the Shrouded Fable promo. This one's been a really interesting one. So this one here in a PSA 10 is currently $300. It did peak at about 400 and it's come down a little bit, still reasonably high, which is pretty good. It's kind of annoying because I did actually get this in a PSA 10 much earlier on this year. And when I did have it, it was like here, where it was like 120-ish. I didn't expect it to go up here. And unfortunately, I sold it at around here. So around here. So it feels kind of bad that it's how much it is. But, you know, it's just the way it goes. Raw price has done relatively well. Pretty much, I say relatively well, pretty much doubled in value. This is a great one to pick up. One of the few things from Shrouded Fable that's actually cool and awesome. So I think it'll be good, and I think we do very well in the long term. And it has gone a little bit cheaper in the graded price, but the raw price is still quite high, but not quite as all-time high at around $75. So it has come down about 20 to 30%, which is always quite nice. Then we have the Greninja promo, which kind of goes alongside it. This one here, PSA 10 price did reach nearly $600 and is now dropped by about $200 since its all-time high. So it's dropped quite a bit. Bearing in mind it was like $150 earlier on this year. And then when we look at the raw price of this, it is up on the last 6 months. It has come down from its all-time high a little bit, but not too much. It is very, very different in that respect compared to the Kingdra. But in my opinion, I do prefer the Greninja and the Kingdra. Both very cool. But yeah, both very, very good and a little bit cheaper right now. Right, we're going to Eevee. This is the SPC promo. So this one was an interesting one. So we did see PSA 10 price when it first started getting graded at 700. Then it took a huge drop because a lot of copies were getting graded. It dropped to $300. Then it crept back up in October to $600, and now it's fallen back down to $350. Probably going to head towards that $300 range. It was kind of going up and down like a yo-yo. I think now's a really good time to look at picking one up if you want to get one graded. And the raw price, again, during the summer, it was around $20-ish. Then we did see a huge spike, and I kept seeing that at card shows, where it did reach $55. And now it has fallen pretty much back to where it was 6 months ago. So I think now's a great time to get this promo. It's a gorgeous looking promo. I think it'll be a really sought after one in the future. Keep an eye out for this Eevee. Moving on, we got the Charmander, the regular one from the Obsidian Flames ETB. We're looking at PSA 10 is currently $300. And on top of that, you know, again, quite tough to get in a 10. It was over $400 in a 10 earlier on this year, and it has fallen quite a bit since. You know, it's dropped around about $150-ish, which is actually a lot of money. And then when we look at the raw price, it is up on the 6 month, but it has come down from its all-time high. Amazing promo. Everybody loves this to go alongside the Squirtle and the Bulbasaur, and it makes the ETB a lot more appealing. Of course, the Pokemon Center one's very different, but this one is a pretty good one that you can look at picking up. A lot of people do have these, especially at card shows. Keep an eye out for this one. I think it's pretty good. And we've got the Pikachu from the Adventure Collect or Adventure Chest box, which I think is a very cool promo. $170 in a PSA 10. It did actually reach nearly $250 in a 10, so it has dropped a fair amount over the past month or so. If we look at the raw price of this, it is up, doing pretty well, pretty much tripled in price, or doubled in price in fact, which is pretty good. And this was in a pretty cool product. It wasn't very popular, but now it's pretty much sold out everywhere. And of course, in return, this amazing promo has been going up quite heavily, but still a very cool one. And then finally, we've got 2 more promos I want to show you, which kind of go side by side. We have the Dark Sylveon from Celebrations. This one I think is very cool, expected to go up when we get closer and closer to the 30th anniversary. You're looking at a $5 raw card, like 152 in a 10. It did drop a little bit from its all-time high at nearly $200, but it is sitting relatively steady, which is kind of nice to see. And in the raw price on TCG Player at one point, it was $21, and it has fallen since. So this is a great one to look out for. This was the Celebrations hype that was going on earlier on this year and is now cooled off a bit, but expect the hype to carry on next year. Same with the Lance's Charizard, nearly 150 in a PSA 10. Reasonably cheap raw, and again it's stayed pretty steady in that PSA 10 price. And again, we're looking at the raw price, that spike similar to the Dark Sylveon. Again, that Celebrations hype nearly reaching $20 and has cooled off again. So keep an eye out for these. I think there's some amazing promos to come. Mega Evo has some amazing promos. Once we get all the sets rolling as well, especially from the Charizard UPC and so on and so forth. Just honestly, promos are super cool. Really tough to grade. You can get some really sweet ones. But there you have it. Those are some promos that I think are really good from the Scarlet Violet and Sword and Shield era. Tough to grade. A lot of people like them. They're super popular. And I think down the line, we could see some of these promos fetch an insanely high price tag. It's because of the graded price. It's that potential. Could it get a 10? Downside of promos is they can be easily damaged in packaging, which makes it so hard to find 10s. When you do get 10s, they are worth so much more money. That's the appeal of promos. That's why a lot of people have shifted towards promos, and I think we'll get that more so in the Mega Evo line of sets, because again, their ETBs come with promos for UPC and so on and so forth. But yeah, keep an eye out on what's coming out next year as well. But those, I think, are some great promos that you can look at picking up. A lot of them are falling in price quite heavily, even in the graded price especially. Now might be a good time to swoop in and get some sweet deals. If it's fun of the video and you've enjoyed it, make sure to smash the like button and make sure to subscribe for more Pokemon content. And let me know your thoughts. Have you been picking up some promos this year? I definitely have. I've been picking up that Eevee SPC promos. I've been picking up some Prismatic ETB promos. I've been looking at picking up other Scarlet and Violet era promos as well, like Valley Evolve, the Charmander from Obsidian Flames, things like that. Those really popular ones I think people want to go for. And I've collected a crap ton of the Charizard UPC promos. Unfortunately, not a single 10, but it is what it is. That's it from me, guys, in today's video. Of course, for all Pokemon content, make sure to click the video on the screen, and of course, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You guys legends. I'll see you in the next one.